Hi, I'm Courtney Thomas, and today I want to talk about limiting beliefs. And these are probably something that you're familiar with, even if you haven't heard the phrase limiting beliefs or heard it called by that name. Essentially, limiting beliefs are just exactly what the name implies. You know, this is the stuff that goes around in your head over and over and over again, all the stuff you're telling yourself, the little negative voices in your head that limit your belief about yourself, what you can do, what you can have in life. And it can apply in all kinds of places. We have limiting beliefs personally about who we are and how we can show up. We have limiting beliefs about our professional lives, about what we can achieve and, what type of success that we can allow for. It can be absolutely everywhere. One of my kind of standard, famous, long-standing limiting beliefs that I held for a super, super long time is that I don't make friends. I can't make friends. Or people don't want to be friends with me. Basically any version of that. And, I have another video that talks all about it, about how this was a record basically that I played over and over and over and over again inside my head throughout my entire life until I acknowledged that, whoa, wait a second. Is this really true? Or is this something that I'm putting on myself to limit what I believe about all the opportunities that I have to make friends in life and about my current friendships and about how this can go in the future? And, turns out, it was a limiting belief. And guess what? The thing about limiting beliefs is that you can change them. You can absolutely change them. So when I work with clients to do this, it's funny because I'm going to share an exercise that I often suggest that a client might do on their own, but more often, this tends to happen in real time with both clients that I'm working with on coaching calls, or, even just sometimes when I'm talking to people, throughout the world, where we sometimes don't even realize that we're saying things like this, and it can happen all the time to where somebody's like, I say this to myself all the time and I know that it's not true. I know that it's ridiculous, but still blah, blah, blah. So I guess it's just fine. And the thing about that and about even kind of glancing over limiting beliefs like that is that it's not fine. It's just not fine. And I think we can all agree on that, limiting beliefs absolutely hold us back from all of the things that we want and desire in life and from opportunities and from potential. And, there are consequences to that. So while it feels sticky and uncomfortable to confront a limiting belief and to do some work around it and do some reflecting and, self-examination with that, or again, maybe it's working with somebody to kind of dismantle this, it can be a little bit painful to go to the roots of it and examine the foundation and everything. But, my question is always isn't it painful where you're at? Isn't it painful to hold this limiting belief on replay in your head? What is the consequence of holding this limiting belief versus putting an end to it and moving on and starting to believe something else? So, it is definitely something that if you have any of these thoughts about yourself, and that could be anything from, who am I to blah, 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 or, stuff like that, whatever. It's all kinds of things. You're not alone. And like I said, I want to share a exercise that can be incredibly useful in at least starting this process of understanding the limiting belief and, where it came from, who maybe has shaped it, what life experiences, all that kind of stuff, but then moving on from it. And again, starting to shift your beliefs and focus them in the right places that make more sense for you and your growth. So it really is a simple thing. Certainly falls in that category of simple but not easy, but a simple thing. So all I want you to do is write down your limiting belief, and then I want you to write down below it your response to that belief. And what I mean by that is if it were you and me talking, or you and your best friend, or, your sister, or even your teenage kid or something like that, and they said something along these lines to you, they said something out loud, a limiting belief, you would be like, Come on. No, flat out no. That is not a fact. That is ridiculous. You're amazing. You can do whatever you put your mind to. Whatever the response would be, right? You would probably do your best to, in a supportive way, refute that negative and limiting belief, right? So that is what I want you to do for yourself, which I know it can be challenging, but try to have some fun with it. So, I mean, it's an exercise I've done for myself, along the lines of when I was early in business, I would have all kinds of negative thoughts, there are so many other coaches out there doing it better than me. Who am I to do this? And I would write that down. And then I would write a response in the way that I would respond to a client, to a friend, to someone else in my life, which literally would be like, that is ridiculous. Where did you even get that idea? So be honest in how you would respond to that person, but do it to yourself and then read it back. You're probably going to get a lot out of that. And whatever your response is, you're probably going to start to see like a lot of, you might see emotions, you might see stories, you might see experiences, again, intertwined with this. You might see some societal stuff that plays into it. I have worked through limiting beliefs that have to do like with money, for instance, or success. Great. Like, you write a response to that and there might be things to examine along the lines of, again, like, do you even know your definition of success? Are you harping on yourself for something that, again, isn't realistic for your life or isn't true for you? All kinds of different things like this. And from there, yeah, you can go in and explore a little deeper. You can go deeper. There's another video about that. But at the very least, having this response reflected back at you is going to be really useful for you to come back to. Because limiting beliefs often don't go away, even if you do start to acknowledge them, if you do start to gain this awareness, which this is an exercise in awareness, absolutely. And that's the first step. From there, you have to continue to do some work. You have to take some action. You have to be very mindful all the time. But the awareness is key. And then having that to yourself that's why I always say, write it down. Don't think about this in your head. You're going to lose that. You're going to forget it. If you write this down and you go back to it on a day when you are struggling with this very limiting belief, guess what? That is going to be super useful. Reminder for you to say okay, I know this is not true. I can let this go. What is the true belief, which is rooted in the response that you have? Again, going back to my example of, I can't make friends. Guess what? That's not true. I have a ton of really wonderful friends. Maybe this experience that I just had that brought up this limiting belief again was challenging some emotions that I have about that from the past, but here are the facts. I am totally capable of making friends, and I have really wonderful people in my life who tell me that they love me and they are happy I'm in their life. Do you see where I'm going with this? The response is going to be the thing for you to come back to that is the actual belief that can start to become the thing that rolls on replay in your head more often than the old, outdated, and limiting belief that's keeping you from all the things you want in life and how you want to show up. So if you are struggling at all ever with limiting beliefs, and you know what, we all do at some point, I would highly recommend just sitting down, give yourself even 5 minutes, write the limiting belief, write the response, read it back to yourself, and go on about your day with the new belief. I hope this was helpful. Let me know if it was. Always add a comment. I love to hear from you and your experience, and let me know if this exercise is useful for you. I hope that it is. You can always shoot me an email on my website over at CourtneyThomas.com. Let me know what's going on with you, and put new beliefs, put the positive spin, not the limiting spin, on replay in your head. I hope that you have an awesome day. Thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful, and we'll see you next time.